a gorgeous actress starts dating a middle-aged valet to hide her relationship with a married billionaire. Antonio drives a luxury sports car, but only because he is a valet at a fine dining restaurant. After his shift, he takes his bike to the less dazzling area, passing by a speech held by city developer Vincent and his wife Catherine. Soon, Antonio picks up his son Marco from school, but when they get home, they catch the landlord Mr. Kim coming out of their apartment. The man explains that he just fixed their toilet, but Antonio doubts this. He confronts his mother Cecilia about her frequently calling their landlord for repairs. Cornered, the woman finally confesses that she's dating Mr. Kim, much to her son's surprise. Elsewhere, Olivia serves lunch to cops but accidentally reveals her firearm. This makes her nervous, but only because she forgets her next line in the movie's script. After the shoot, Olivia's assistant Amanda reminds her of her schedule, but the actress makes her cancel everything to go somewhere else. Wearing a hat and hoodie, Olivia drives to a hotel where she meets her lover Vincent. Meanwhile, Antonio's sister Clara and her husband Benny try to set the man up on a date. In truth, however, the man is still in love with his estranged wife Isabel, who's just arrived to pick up their son. Noticing her upset, Antonio checks in on her, so the woman shares that she has to pause her classes since her loan was denied. The bank requires her to pay $12,850 before she can make another loan. Antonio offers to get a second job to help, but Isabel realizes that he's doing this to get back together with her. With that, she reveals that she is already seeing a realtor. At the hotel, Olivia tries to relax with her lover but gets pissed when his phone keeps ringing. With the man's wife looming over her mind, she decides to go home. Vincent tries persuading her to stay, but Olivia points out that she has an image to uphold since she started a production company dedicated to telling women's stories. If people discover that she's seeing a married man, her reputation will be tarnished. The man promises to leave Catherine at the right time, but despite this, Olivia leaves. Hurriedly, Vincent gets dressed to follow her, so the actress books a car so she can leave at the front of the hotel, hoping it'll deter him. This doesn't work since the man still follows her outside. Coincidentally, Antonio is riding his bike after buying his mother's medicine. He gets distracted when he passes by an ad for the realtor Isabel is dating, Ronnie. This leads to him crashing into the car Olivia hired. The turn of events allows a paparazzi to snap a photo of the billionaire, the actress, and the valet. The following day, Antonio takes his bike to the local shop owned by Natalie. However, she shares that developers are buying out their entire block, so they might get kicked out. To prevent this, Natalie plans to attend the city council meeting in a few days. Meanwhile, Olivia discovers an article about her and Vincent, causing her to panic given that her new movie is coming out soon. Having seen this article as well, Catherine confronts her husband, who denies being involved with the actress. He lies that he happened to pass by Olivia that night, and she was with the other man in the photo, Antonio. Later, Vincent complains to his lawyer Danielle that if he can't convince Catherine that he's loyal to her, she can divorce him and take everything, including his company. The lawyer suggests tracking down Antonio and making him and Olivia pretend that they're a couple to convince Catherine and the public that Vincent is not involved. With this, Danielle soon meets up with Antonio and tells him the plan. This confuses the valet, especially when the lawyer offers to pay him any amount he wants. To his and Vincent's surprise, the man asks for exactly $12,850. Olivia also agrees quickly since it'll save her movie and reputation. Soon, Danielle warns Olivia that Catherine's investigator, Stegman, is following her. Their own investigator, Kapoor, is also watching Stegman. So with the two on her tail, Olivia heads to Antonio's workplace, kisses him, then takes him away, leaving everyone stunned. Once they're alone, Olivia apologizes to the valet for getting him involved. However, she has also set up paparazzi to follow them, making Antonio nervous. They head to a restaurant, where the valet freezes at the countless cameras on him. Unused to being a customer at a fine establishment, Antonio tries to head to the restroom to calm down, only to get mistaken as a waiter. This leads him to pour water for other customers until Olivia sends the actual waiter to do it. During their meal, the actress reveals that she plans to take him as her date for her movie premiere. This appearance should stop rumors about her and Vincent, though she asks Antonio to shave his mustache before the day. When the man returns to work, his coworkers bombard him with questions. Meanwhile, Isabel also discovers the news, so she confronts her son about it. Elsewhere, Catherine calls her husband and apologizes for believing the rumors about him. In truth, however, she's still not convinced. On the day of the premiere, a limo picks up a clean-shaven Antonio, though he's nervous when the press at the theater tries to interview him. He soon watches the movie with the actress, and he's completely enthralled with Olivia's performance. The actress, on the other hand, is anxious about her film. The two then attend the after party, only to be greeted by Catherine and Vincent. The married woman asks how Olivia met Antonio, so the actress quickly comes up with a story about him helping her with car trouble. Outside, Kapoor greets Stegman but uses this chance to slip a bug in his car. In the bathroom, Vincent apologizes to Olivia about how his wife insisted on attending the premiere. He then declares that he still loves Olivia, but she insists that she can't handle being around him anymore. Meanwhile, Catherine approaches Antonio and offers him $100,000 to tell her the truth. She insists that there's no way an actress like Olivia is dating a valet, and this offends Antonio. He refuses her offer, stressing that his date isn't as superficial as she thinks. He then exits and finds Olivia drunk on the staircase. She asks to go home, so the valet offers to call their limo, but she refuses, hoping to avoid the paparazzi. Instead, Antonio carries her to the back, where he meets with his co-workers Rudy and Javier. However, Olivia passes out without telling them her home address, so they end up taking her to his house. Olivia wakes up the next morning, and the valet quickly assures her that nothing happened between them. To their surprise, Antonio's family and Mr. Kim's are waiting to meet the actress in the kitchen. They try to slip out, but Clara and Benny corner Olivia into trying their cooking. To the woman's surprise, she enjoys the dish. She wonders why they prepared so much, and Clara explains that their family often gets together on Sundays. The actress compares this to her family, whom she hardly sees. As Antonio's relatives interact with her and each other, Olivia smiles, finding herself endeared to them. Isabel and Marco drop by, and the ex is surprised to see the actress there, so she walks off. This has Antonio worrying, so he retreats to his bedroom where Olivia joins him. He admits that he's been trying to get back together with Isabel, but now that she's seen the actress with him, he might have ruined his chances. Just then, Isabel texts him about signing a form, but Olivia assumes that she just wants to talk. This turns out to be true as Isabel rants to him about feeling blindsided by his new relationship. Suddenly, she declares that she doesn't care, so she leaves. Antonio returns home and sees his son inviting Olivia to see his play at school. Finally, the actress assistant calls to pick her up, so the group takes a photo with the woman before sending her off. Antonio apologizes for his relative's behavior, but Olivia admits she likes spending time with them. He also shares that Isabel is jealous of them, so they wonder if they'll get what they want with their plan. During this, Stegman reports to Catherine that Olivia spent the night with Antonio, leading her to consider that their relationship might be true. Unbeknownst to them, Kapoor is listening in, so he soon informs Vincent that his wife has called her investigator off. However, when he tells him about Olivia spending the night at Antonio's, the man gets threatened. With this, Vincent tells Kapoor to hire someone so they can tail both the actress and the valet. This has Kapoor recruiting Stegman. Later, Olivia calls her assistant and publicist to celebrate her fantastic movie reviews, but they're both busy with their families. With no one else to talk to, she calls Vincent, but he questions her about what she did last night. Before she can explain, Catherine calls her husband, so he ends their conversation. Feeling abandoned, the woman decides to sneak into Marco's school play. After the play, the family takes Olivia to a local restaurant to celebrate Marco's debut. During this, Clara asks the actress what she sees in her brother, so the woman compliments the man for being kind and not pretending to be someone else. The group soon goes to the dance floor, and while everyone's busy, Antonio finds Natalie at the bar. She's drinking her anxiety away since they're still working on the council meeting to keep their business. During this, the investigators have dinner in Stegman's car, who shares that he's going through a divorce, so he's staying with his brother in the meantime. Later, Isabel gets Antonio alone and kisses him, asking him for another chance. The man immediately says yes, so she asks how he can leave an actress for her. This has him confessing that he's only pretending to be with Olivia to hide her relationship with a billionaire. The man is paying him to do this, but his wife offered him $100,000 to tell her the truth. He refused since he already promised Olivia and Vincent. Just then, Ronnie calls for Isabel, so the woman hurries back to her boyfriend. Still, this puts Antonio in a happy mood. Adding to his luck, Benny tells him that he's taking over the valet service for another restaurant, so he wants to promote Antonio as the manager. Olivia soon decides to go home, so the valet walks her to his car only for them to see the investigators. The two get on Antonio's bike, and the valet maneuvers tight alleys to lose them in. Afterward, the pair walk by the lake, and Olivia notices how passers-by don't recognize her. Her friend explains that no one expects the famous actress to be there, so she can relax. The woman smiles, noting how it's nice to be invisible for once. They then pass the local shopping district, and Antonio mourns how the shops will likely close down because of the planned developments. He shares how he used to work multiple jobs there to help Clara get through school. Now his sister is the school principal. Finally, they reach Olivia's car, but having enjoyed their time together, she asks to stay at his place for tonight. Antonio agrees, so he takes her home. where they find Cecilia smoking outside. She quickly throws her cigarette away and claims she's just watching over the guy spying on their apartment. This leads the pair to discover that the investigators rented the room across the street. Knowing that Vincent is tailing them out of jealousy, Olivia decides to mess with him. Moments later, the investigators take photos of Antonio and Olivia spending time in the bedroom, unaware that they're just pretending. Soon, the valet feels awkward about the act, so he slips out of sight and gets cereal in the kitchen while Olivia continues acting. As they prepare for bed later, Antonio questions why she's doing so much for Vincent. Hesitantly, Olivia admits that despite her popularity, she doesn't feel seen. She hasn't had a healthy long-term relationship, and her only friends are those she pays. She's not even in contact with her family, so she ends up spending holidays with her assistant. She wanted Vincent for his attention but knows he'll never leave his wife for her. Antonio assures her that he'd be a fool not to, and Olivia thanks him for his kindness. She hopes she falls in love with someone like him, and the valet reminds her that his heart is taken. In the morning, Antonio wakes up to a text from Isabel asking him to meet up. Because of this, he hurries to the location, giddy with the idea of getting back together with her. However, Isabel asks him to officially get divorced. The confused man reminds her that she kissed him last night, but Isabel admits that she was bothered that he turned down $100,000. She comments that he always acts like he deserves nothing, and she wants to be with someone who knows they deserve everything. This breaks Antonio's heart. Meanwhile, Vincent receives last night's footage from Antonio's bedroom, and he quietly seethes. Antonio soon returns home and tells Olivia that Isabel is finally divorcing him because she wants to be with someone more successful. Olivia tries comforting him, stressing that he's a wonderful man. However, this leads Antonio to turn his anger at the woman, pointing out that she can have any man yet she slept with a married one. Olivia defends that she didn't know Vincent was married at the start, but the valet assumes that she just doesn't want a real relationship because she can't handle having someone know her true self. Knowing that he's just hurt, Olivia tries reconciling since they're friends, but Antonio points out that after their plan is done, he'll be invisible to her again. He stresses that being invisible isn't great, since in his job, his clients don't even look him in the eye as if he's not human like them. Olivia defends that she isn't like that, but the man isn't convinced. As they head out, paparazzi are waiting for them, giving Antonio the perfect way to end their pretend relationship. Hurt, Olivia storms off while Antonio finds that his bike has been stolen. Just then, Vincent arrives and punches the valet, though he ends up getting hurt more. He yells at Antonio for sleeping with Olivia and threatens not to pay him before Danielle pulls him away. With that finally over, Antonio proceeds with his mundane life. He even confesses to his friends that he and Olivia weren't really together. To his surprise, Danielle visits him at his workplace and apologizes on Vincent's behalf. He then gives the man a check for $25,000, but Antonio refuses it since it's more than what they discussed. Danielle then reveals that he grew up in the same neighborhood as Antonio. His family was poor, so he understands how much the check could change Antonio's life. He urges him to take it, and the valet realizes that turning opportunities like this down is why Isabel left him. With this, he takes the check to prove that he's not as weak as she thinks. Danielle thanks him, given that in his job, he doesn't have many opportunities to do the right thing. Meanwhile, Stegman is still watching Antonio's home and admires Mr. Kim and Cecilia's relationship. Just then, Kapoor offers to let him move in with him, and the friends agree to be roommates. However, this celebration is cut short when Stegman spots Cecilia suffering a heart attack while Mr. Kim struggles to help her. Soon, Antonio and his sister receive the bad news. Days later, the family holds a funeral for Cecilia, and her son makes a speech about his beloved mother. They lived in poor conditions, but she remained positive, even if she had to work during her pregnancies. Because of this, he appreciates that she eventually found happiness with Mr. Kim until her last moments. Antonio stresses how Cecilia didn't pursue to be famous and rich, but she was a force of nature. With this, he tearfully says goodbye to his mother. Weeks later, Benny's new valet spots opens with Antonio as the manager. Their joyful mood, however, is interrupted when Vincent arrives and hands Antonio his keys without even looking at him. The valet comments on how horrible the man is for not recognizing Antonio. Javier thinks rich people just don't care about them, but Benny defends that Olivia wasn't like that. Rudy asks if Antonio ever reconciled with her, and he says no since she doesn't answer his calls and he doesn't know where she is. Rudy then reveals that she is currently at a studio. He knows this since he's befriended Olivia's assistant. With this, Antonio hurries to the studio to reconcile with Olivia, who's shooting a film there. Once on break, she approaches the man and offers her condolences for Cecilia. Awkwardly, Antonio then advises her not to see Vincent again, and she assures him that she's decided to break up with him. The valet apologizes for what he said before, and the actress returns the gesture for using him. She defends that she's tried breaking up with Vincent before, but he always talks her out of it. Meanwhile, Vincent returns home and finds his wife by the pool. He offers to refill her drink but leaves his jacket with his phone on the lounge. It rings once he's gone, and Catherine can't help but check. That night, Olivia receives a call. Hours later, Vincent welcomes her into his hotel while she's in disguise, only for Antonio to reveal himself under the hoodie. The man gives him divorce papers and a phone, from where Catherine declares to her husband that she knows everything. Given this, she's taking her father's company back. She also had Vincent investigated and notified the police about his offshore holdings. Vincent attempts to sweet-talk his wife and declares that Olivia means nothing to him. However, Olivia is right next to Catherine, listening to everything. Learning this, Vincent then tries sweet-talking the actress, but both women reject him. With a message delivered, Antonio leaves triumphantly while Vincent goes on a rampage in his room. At the parking lot, Olivia apologizes to Catherine for getting involved with her husband. The woman reveals that she actually met Vincent while he was still married to his first wife, so she should have known he'd do the same to her. Catherine then thanks Antonio for helping them exact revenge on Vincent, so she offers to help him with what he wants. Immediately, the man gets an idea. Elsewhere, Natalie makes a speech about how gentrification will erase their neighborhood's culture. To her surprise, the councilwoman is notified that the developers are backing out of the project, so the store owners can keep their properties. With the neighborhood saved, Antonio enjoys time with his family, even accepting Mr. Kim and his grandchildren into his home. Vincent soon gets arrested while Kapoor and Stegman grow closer as roommates. Eventually, the valet goes to Natalie's shop to get a new bike, and to his surprise, she's recovered his old one already. She also shares the news about the developers backing out, though she isn't sure why. Coyly, Antonio just says that sometimes the good guys win. Days later, he tells Olivia that he asked Natalie out, though it's awkward since he hasn't been on a date in years. Still, the woman invited him to an event, so he thinks she likes him. Happy, Olivia teases him about his newfound love before they begin bickering about food like the good friends they are.
Subscribe to watch more videos like this, turn on notifications and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.